Good morning. In some of my previous videos, I'd made predictions that in many cases sadly came true. I'm not claiming prescience. I'm not claiming some crystal ball. It's, as I've said in previous videos, my observations and my commentaries are based on life experience, logic, common sense, and research. Specifically, what I'd like to talk about is the Ukrainian defenders of the Avostal steelworks. I am hoping that what I'm going to predict will not come to pass, but I fear that it will. Now, whether or not you're pro-Russian, pro-Ukrainian, or indifferent to what's going on in Ukraine at this time, it is indicative of the current Russian government and Putin specifically that what is going on there affects the entire world. And that includes us here in Canada, as much as we would like to think perhaps not. Russia's barbarity, brutality, and lies are on full display in the Ukraine for all the world to see. Actions that are totally unacceptable in a modern globalist society where we are starting to think in many cases of ourselves rather than individuals of a nation. We're starting to see it from a more global perspective, the more civilized people are. I'm not saying deride or ignore Canadian patriotism. I'm saying that you have to look at things as well as national in a global perspective. So where am I going with this? Here's my fear. The Azov battalion, who were predominantly responsible for the defense of Avostal, have surrendered. They were out of ammunition, they were out of food, they had no hope of relief or resupply, and even Zelensky said, "You've done all you can, stop. Lay down your arms and surrender." It is a heroic defense that will go up there with, I think, in history, with the French defense of Verdun. Anybody who studied military history, heroic last stands, they've already compared it to King Leonidas and the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae against a vastly superior Persian army. I don't think the analogy is inaccurate. Ukraine has started putting Russian soldiers on trial for the barbarity, for the senseless slaughter of civilians, for the looting, for the rapes committed by Russia and Russian soldiers. Do you think Russia is not going to use this opportunity, these captured fighters from Avostal, for their propaganda purposes? Here's my fear. These surrendered fighters are not going to be treated according to the Geneva Convention. I fear they're going to be brutalized, intensively interrogated, and by that I mean torture, beatings, coercion, into false confessions of Nazism or right-wing ideology, into false confessions regarding war crimes. And Russia is going to institute a series of show trials for the world to see, and they're going to have these people saying things that are patently untrue, patently false. Anybody can be broken given time. And for all their dedication and their nationalism, patriotism, their courage, anybody can be broken. They're talking about prisoner exchanges. Now, Russia has demonized the Azov Battalion falsely as a bunch of neo-Nazis. They have been one of the personal demons for Putin and his bullshit justification of the barbarity and the brutality and the invasion of Ukraine. How can they walk this back now? How can they then say we're going to exchange these Azov Battalion people for Russian prisoners when they have amply demonstrated they don't give a good goddamn about their own soldiers? As a matter of fact, in many cases, they won't even take back the bodies of their dead because they don't want the Russian people to know the true extent of the losses. You see their claims about Russian debt, and they're vastly, vastly, vastly underrated to make it more palatable to the Russian people. If the Russian people knew how many Russian soldiers have been stupidly sacrificed in that meat grinder in Ukraine, they'd be horrified. So, of course, state-controlled media, they keep this secret. So I can see these heroes facing unimaginable horrors. And like I said, I would hope to be proven wrong on this, but I really, really fear that I've nailed it again. And of course, the world will be able to do nothing because Putin is an arrogant liar. Think Trudeau. He will look you right in the eye and baldly, unashamedly, unabashedly lie right to your face. Just like Trudeau. And there are people stupid enough to swallow those lies, just like here in Canada. So for me, I am saddened. I think anybody who's been following what's going on, anybody who loves freedom should be horrified at what's going on in the Ukraine. Anybody who loves democracy, truly loves democracy, truly appreciates the quality of life, even under Trudeau, that we still enjoy here in Canada, will be horrified at what's going on there. So I'm going to wait and see if this is a sad prediction that becomes true. I pray to God it won't, but I really fear that it will. So we'll just have to see how events unfold. I would also urge anybody who's interested in what's going on in Ukraine now to follow Vlad Dobriansky. He's posted a lot of videos, and this is someone who lived in Ukraine. So whether you're a Ukrainian Russian or a Russian Ukrainian, you should follow him and listen to what he has to say, because he speaks from a standpoint not of academic interest, but of personal knowledge of what he has seen and what he knows about the Russian psyche, about the Russian goals, and about the Russian/Ukrainian relationship. What is going on there now is a genocide. And it is nothing short of a genocide. It is a concerted effort by Putin to totally eradicate Ukraine, Ukrainian culture, Ukrainian history, and any semblance of a nation. He is trying to totally wipe it out, and he won't succeed any more than Stalin did, because expat Ukrainians in South America, Australia, Canada, UK, USA, keep their culture alive, keep the literature, keep the music, keep the books. And these people, just like after the fall of the Soviet Union, Ukraine had to import its own culture back, and the expats brought it to them. So if you appreciate freedom if you can, if you're global enough in your perspective to truly appreciate the horrors of what's happening there. Something that has no place in the 21st century. Not by any rational individual. I did a post before where I compared Putin to Hitler, and others have done the same thing. The same stupidity, the same lies, the same garbage attempts at a justification. And we know how that worked out. And now we are in a nuclear age. So, my fellow Canadians, and to freedom-loving people everywhere, pray for Ukraine. Thank you.